Everyone knows those tricky questions in exam papers where they're asking you to outline a process and you quite frankly know what you're doing, but you just don't know what they're looking for. You don't know what terms, what words, what sentences they specifically want and are specifically underlined in the mark scheme. Therefore, you waste a lot of time waffling, you write down everything you know, and actually in the end, it turns out you've missed out a certain key term or you've missed out a step in the process and therefore your mark plummets. This method helps to prevent that and will revolutionize how you approach these systematic questions. Something that I learned from doing almost every past paper for all of my subjects is how formulaic exams actually are. So I developed a revision method around this predictability of exam papers, and this seriously boosted my score. I'm going to share it with you today. This method is called scribble sheets, and it exploits the fact that a large chunk of exam papers will literally just be recall. It's asking you to recall a certain process or a certain definition. These are bound to come up in every paper, and if you can nail these marks, you're guaranteeing yourself a high grade. You've probably noticed it as well. In some exam papers, questions come up and you're thinking, I've seen this before, I just can't remember how to answer it. I can't remember exactly what the mark scheme wants. And that's the annoying bit. The question itself may be easy, but when you look at the mark scheme, the wording is so intricate and specific that if you even leave out a single key term, you're cooked and you don't get any of the marks. This method helps to prevent that and ensures that you're banking those easy marks every single time. I like to call this method scribble sheets, and I'm going to show you how they work now. During your paper, when you come across one of these questions that you know is systematic and is going to have specific marking points, flag it immediately when you're doing the paper. Then, during your review, come back to it and go through the mark scheme and look at the marking points. Chances are the marking points will stay the same or very similar for every single paper. Then what I want you to do is get separate sheets of paper, write down the question and write down the specific marking points with the specific key terms in them. Every single time this style of question comes up, do this. Something you'll also realise is that maybe the question will come up another time, but there'll be a slightly different marking point on it. You can then add to this scribble sheet if you come across this question in a different paper and they have a different marking point. So you essentially are collating a whole list of marking points for a specific question that you know will get you marks. I'll now show you an example of a scribble sheet. So for A-level biology, we have this. Essentially, this is a very standard question. It's how to use a DNA probe to show the presence of a gene. And this is just a process that you have to learn, except you can't just write any old thing. You have to write exactly what's on the mark scheme. So this scribble sheet ensures that you do that, as it includes a question and just the specific marking points. So in the morning before your exam, read through all your scribble sheets and you can be sure that you're going to bank those marks. Do these for every single one of these systematic questions and you'll have yourself the most valuable revision resource that no one tells you about. I'll put some more examples up on the screen now. Feel free to pause the video to have a look at them. This method also works really well for proof questions in your maths exams, as at A-level maths there are some proofs that you just need to learn, so you just write these out and you can be sure to bank these marks every single time. This essentially means you're not letting those easy marks slip away and instead you're banking every single mark that you know you can do, but the mark scheme trips you up about. Once you've made your scribble sheets, just take a while to familiarise yourself with them, to read through them, and you'll notice that when these questions come up again, you're banking those easy marks every time and you're saving time because you're not waffling, you know exactly what they want to see and you're writing exactly what they want to see. From the examiner's point of view, their impression of you will be, wow, the student knows what they're doing, and that's exactly what you want. Let's now see an example of this in practice. So here we have a 6-mark question. The high tariff questions are often a sign that it's a recall question, and we're asked about the evolution of species. Now we can see it's mainland, and so this is something called speciation, and it's allopatric. Thankfully, I have a scribble sheet on this exact question, so let's pop it up on the screen now. And I know exactly what to write. So I will write all of these points and let's compare it to the mark scheme.
And now this is our mark scheme. You can see that every single point matches up to a point on my scribble sheet. So if I had memorized a scribble sheet and just blurted all this information out, that's an easy 6 marks in record time. You're saving time and you're banking those marks. Note that here on our scribble sheet, we also have some redundant points that weren't mentioned on the mark scheme, and that's due to what I described before, where different questions will have different expectations, but then it doesn't harm to be over-prepared. So just write everything you have. Some days it will be on the mark scheme, some days it might not be.
Try this method out, see if it works, save time, get those marks, and boost your scores. Thank you for watching.